Well, we have some great sporting events, of course, around the world this year, including this weekend. But if you're an angler, there's nothing better than FishOMania to get that heart beating. It is a who's who, and we have some old sages with us here this afternoon. Our resident Keith Arthur rejoins us here on Sky Sports. Tommy Pickering, an England manager who hasn't yet resigned, and Neil McKinnon, who is one of the masters of FishOMania, won it back in 2010, will be giving us an insight of what it's like to be out there during the course of the afternoon. Well, there's a festival of fishing. Not only do we have the 16 competitors, we have the ladies, the juniors and stars from far and wide. The juniors started at 11 o'clock. The final weigh-in for them is over on the Suez Canal. That will be at 3 o'clock. The ladies started half an hour ago. They're also on the Suez Canal, 16 pegs over there. Taking the little gap between pegs 1 and 6 on the arena lake, the main lake, the international masters. Will be introducing the competitors there from around Europe shortly. And in a few moments' time, FishOMania 23 will start. I'm sure you've watched it before and you will know how it happens, but every half an hour we have the hourly weigh-ins, and at the end of the day somebody will take home the £50,000 and the esteemed FishOMania Champions Prize. Well, in total, there's £66,000 at stake. I'm told it's £20,000 up on last year's total prizes. £50,000 to the winner, £10,000 to the runner-up. The Masters champion takes back across the water £3,000, and the runner-up £1,000. And the ladies and the juniors will get £1,000 each, a 1 in 6 chance for the winners of the Suez Canal competitions. Well, let's go over and make things official and join our Master of Ceremonies, Mr. Phil Seymour.
Welcome to Cudmore Fisheries for the 23rd annual Party Poker FishOMania. We've got 16 anglers ready to compete for a first prize of £50,000 and the title of Party Poker FishOMania Champion. Let's get things started with the all-in. Come on, Chuck.
So we do have a quality field, 16 anglers who are the envy of the United Kingdom. Remember, almost 4,500 anglers have competed in FishOMania this year, up and down the country. 300 at Lindholm twice to get here, and we are down to the final 16, and we have a great field this year. And tell you what, Neil, how important is it when you get out there, former champion, how important is it that you get the right peg?
When they do the draw, everybody knows the area that they want. They've practiced all week, the conditions, where the fish have been. And they'll go in that bag and they'll draw the peg. And if they get a favourable peg, the confidence will be up straight away. Straight away they'll say to themselves, I've got a good chance here today. I need to take advantage of it. So they'll get on the pegs today. There'll be anglers who are fishing it for the first time. And their confidence will be quiet, but they'll still be confident.
Tommy, we'll talk about the individuals as the day progresses, but just looking at the names, though, we have an incredibly strong field of anglers, don't we?
We've got a new group of anglers now. That must be the youngest final average that we've ever had. And a lot of these lads I know because they come from Lindholm Lakes, a lot of the qualifiers. They are belting anglers. They are young anglers that just want to catch big weights, catch loads of fish. And these lads have actually given everything they do to qualify for this final. And that's what they're doing. But I think we've got a new breed of FishOMania anglers now. I think all these young anglers now, this is what they set the stall out to do. And trust me, there's some absolutely fantastic young anglers in that lineup. It's probably the best lineup we've ever had.
Kids, give us an indication of who is where today and the importance of getting the peg positions.
Well, everybody says you want to be between sort of this area around here, this sort of 2 around to about peg 8 around there, because the fish are historically there. Now, I've spoken to a few of the anglers that have practiced, and they've said to me that there's 1 million fish between 9 and 12, sort of this area around here. Now, what's happened is they've put some new fish into the lake. They've put a shoal, if you like, of these F1 carp hybrids into the lake. And because they've been reared in a pond that's a certain size, they've stayed in that size of shoal. And they were put in there, so they're still there. Now, whether they've spread out and moved around like they do, exactly the same thing happens in trout fisheries when they put in trout. They put them in a 3,000-acre reservoir, they all stay in a goldfish bowl for a week or so. Now, if those fish are spread out, it could be anybody's match, but we could see some new pegs winning. And like, you know, Jamie tends to take the fish with him. He's as a magnet, and he's there.
Well, thank you, Keith. Let's go down and meet our competitors this afternoon. We have 16 anglers. We have 4 reporters who are getting to know the fishermen during the course of the afternoon. Looking after pegs 1 to 4 will be Rob Dorset.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. The first 4 FishO finalists are all pretty chuffed, in truth, with the draw that they've been given, because the wind is coming this way. They think it's pushing the fish this way as well. First up, peg 1, Jason Collins. First time for him at a FishOMania final, but he beat 230 other competitors in a big qualifier in Kent to make it here to Cudmore. So he's very, very chuffed. Already landed 3 fish, by the way. Andy Power, peg 2. One of the bookies' favourites. He's won every one of the 3 big UK angling tournaments. It's his 4th time at FishOMania, but he's never won this one. The bookies think that could change here today. If we spin round here, I'm going to show you Les Marshall, who's made a rip-roaring start. He's already landed 4 fish, but this is his first FishOMania final. He was a bit emotional yesterday when he made it through qualifying, was almost in tears, but he's practised well here and pulled out 136 pounds from this lake last weekend, would you believe? And then finally, on peg 4, Kerry Kirkwood. Second time on the trot he's been in the FishOMania final. He finished 4th last year. He's on peg 4. That is where the winner was last year. So 1 to 4, absolutely fascinating. Pegs 5 to 6 and 7 and 8 as well. Andy Ford's over there for us.
Thanks, Rob. Peg 5 first. The man behind me, Andy May, already had 3 or 4 fish. Andy has been in the final twice before. This is his 3rd appearance. He was in 2008 and 2011. Now, of course, you will have seen him in the final at other times too, because for the past few years, he's been our resident expert here on the Arena Lake at Cudmore. No one knows this lake better than he, and he's drawn an absolutely fantastic peg. He's got a good chance of winning the game. Just trying to make our way around Rob Minnikin here. He was in peg 6. Rob, this is his first final. Rob's playing a fish at the moment, by the look of it. No, he's lost it. This is his first final, as I've just mentioned, 31 years old from Harrogate. Rob is based at the Oaks Lake in Sesse. He's kind of a resident professional, if you like. He works in the tackle shop there. Very highly regarded angler. He wins all sorts of festivals. He's got lake records. He's got venue records everywhere he's been. And those who know say he's a really good outside bet. We're making our way now across to peg 7, just moving back behind Dave Woodsworth, who is in his first final of FishOMania. Peg 7, Dave, nerves of steel from the Wirral. He's a learning disability nurse, highly competitive. You can see he's got a fish on at the moment. Very calm, very cool, very collected. Be very interested to see how he copes with the pressure of a big final like this. And Dale Stone's our last man in my section on peg 8. Dale from Peterborough. He's a welder. He's 55. He is has got some experience of FishOMania finals before. He was in the final in 2000 when Jeff Ringer won it. Bad news for Dale that he's supposed to be at a family party today. It's his mum Shirley's 80th birthday. They're watching the final on television from there. He's here all on his own. Poor old Dale, but let's hope he has a good match today and give Shirley a good birthday present. Let's move over and see how Jenna's getting on peg 9.
Well, all 4 of my anglers here today are first-timers at FishOMania. On peg number 9 is Ian Giddens, and Ian is really, really happy with his position today. Earlier this week, he managed to get to the Arena Lake and have a practice fish where he caught a number of carp. He's excited. Unfortunately, I cannot say the same for peg number 10, which is Stuart Fotheringham. He actually told me he'd prefer to be at either peg 5, 6 or even 7. He went as far as saying that if he feels that Andy May, who's on peg 5, is likely to take home that £50,000 check. Well, Ross Harold is going to have to stay calm if he is to take home that check. He's at peg 11 and he's asked his father to be his bank runner today. And when I asked him why he made that decision, he said it was because his dad keeps him feeling pretty relaxed, and it seems to be working because his keep net is filling up pretty quickly. Finally, on peg 12 is angling journalist Ben Fisk. Now, he's competed in a number of finals, always finishing second though. The 2009 British Open, he finished second. He's hoping to go one better here today at FishOMania. But Rob Hughes, as I mentioned, all 4 of my anglers here today are first timers. I believe it's a different story over your side of the lake.
Absolutely it is, Jenna. Now, let's just have a little look behind me here. Nathan Watson, peg 13. Wow, he's been here a total of 6 times. He won in 2002. He won the Champion of Champions in 2010. Obviously, he wants another victory. Let's move forward now to peg 14. Now, you may well have heard and indeed seen this man, Jamie Hughes. What hasn't he won? Well, he won this last year. He's won it twice. He's been here 6 times. In fact, this is his 5th FishOMania on the bounce. So, serious amount of quality there. Interestingly, as I walk through the gap, there's a side bet going on between those two, and whilst there is an important, very large check up for grabs in the main event, there's a fiver between Nathan and Jamie, so that'll be an interesting one to watch. Let's move up now to peg 15, Ryan Lidgard. First time in the finals. He is, in fact, the youngest competitor in this event, 23 years old, and he plies his trade up at Lindholm Lakes. Now, Lindholm is an important figure in the match angling world because there's actually 6 anglers here that are regulars up there. Amazing for breeding quality match anglers, which indeed we've got in peg 16 with Paul Wright. Now, 16 end peg. Other side of the metal gantry there, we've got the international event, but they fish to slightly different rules. So this is as close to an end peg as we can possibly get. And as you can see, he's on the rod rather than the pole. He fancies his chances on the far side on the feeder.
We can see Nathan Watson there, who, of course, is a champion, wasn't it, back in 2002, who's already got off the mark there. Could it come down to experience, or is it going to be a newbie?
I think it's going to be one of the most open FishOManias we've had for a very long time.
Without doubt.
Glancing over my shoulder, everybody's catching all around the lake. Yeah, to some extent, it's a new lake this year in the sense that it's a different stocking. So people who fished it in the past, although they've got the experience, the lake is different.
All these young anglers
catching
as well, they're all used to catching lots of small fish. That's what they want to do. That's what they do when they go fishing. And I think this venue is actually suited to them. It's not like when me and him qualify, we fish for carp and a few better fish. Now, there's lots of smaller fish. You've got to catch them quick. And trust me, some of these anglers that I know that go to Lindholm, there's nobody better than them. They're awesome at catching small fish.
But it just shows you the fish we've seen caught in this last little segment. We've seen a quality bream.
Yeah.
There's a tench. We saw Nathan with either a little carp or an F1 hybrid, and we saw a mirror carp coming in on the feeder. So there's a wide variety of stock in here, a wide variety of sizes, and that's a decision you've got to make.
To put it into layman's terms, you can go out there and catch a small number of big fish, or you can go for lots of little fish, for those that are uninitiated when it comes to the...
And that's the important tactic.
And you think today it's going to be a big bag, they're going to be reeling them in all afternoon?
I think it's going to be the people that get the quality fish. You don't want these, you don't want the sort of ounce fish, you want those 8 to 12 ounce fish. If you can catch those consistently, then you'll do a lot of that. You know, 3 12-ounce fish is bigger than a 2-pound fish. So to wait for a 2-pound fish can take a long time. You can get 3 12-ounce ones, you're in.
The anglers have told me that the bonus fish this year are skimmers, the 2 pounds.
Which Kerry just had. That was a 2-pound
just what he had, and they're the bonus fish this year. So what they'll be doing, all they'll be doing is trying to catch everything that swims. That's all they'll be trying to do.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be a complete festival of fishing. There's all lots of side shows here. We've got spectators who've come down looking enviously at the guys out there. And I say, guys, we have 16 competitors. We have ladies who go through the various qualifiers as well. And we have the top 6 ladies from the 2015 qualifiers. They're alongside the juniors. And looking after the women and children today is Julie Collier.
Thank you very much, Rob, and welcome to Suarez Canal, where, as you say, the ladies and junior competitions are taking place this afternoon. £1,000 of prize money to both of the winners. This canal is slightly higher than the main arena, a bit more open to the elements, much windier than it is down there on the main arena. You can see the ladies behind me. This is peg 6. This is Sandra Scotthorne, who has to be one of the more fancied contenders this afternoon. She's the 2-time world champion. Her bank runner there just behind her is her husband, Alan, himself the 5-time world champion. So not a bad asset to have in your camp at all. I can tell you, since this competition kicked off at 11:30, things going very well for Sandra. She literally hasn't stopped catching. You can see she's got another fish that she's about to land right there as well. Things going very well indeed for Sandra. I spoke to her earlier. She was happy with her end peg. Perhaps would have preferred to be at the other end, which is where Andy May caught the biggest bag yesterday in the semi-finals, but pretty happy nonetheless to be on the end peg, and things going very well indeed. She's just going to pop that one in the net. There we go. Just the other side of this canal in the distance is where the junior competition is taking place. Perhaps 2 to look out for there is Sam Collett on peg 2. He's the reigning FishOMania champion. And on peg 5 is Tom Edwards. He's the reigning national junior champion. In fact, he's won that title the last 2 years, so he's probably going to be doing pretty well out there as well. That's a short intro to the ladies and the juniors. I'll keep you posted throughout the course of the competition.
Well, thank you, Julie. I can tell you that her hair looked lovely at 8:30 when the Sarah, the makeup girl, did. She looked like she was going to a wedding. Look a little bit draggled out there now in the windy conditions here in Staffordshire. Those are the elite of the ladies in 2015, and of course we know who's going to be in the final next year. And there's some talent there as well, Keith.
Certainly is, yeah. These ladies have qualified from their own national championship. Of course, as you mentioned, loads of them enter FishOMania, but it's difficult to get through to the final. We've had one lady, I think, Wendy Locker,
yeah.
and won the biggest fish prize.
Yeah.
But a lot of them enter, but it is difficult to get through.
Well, those are the ladies, and we have the juniors as well. These are the stars of the future. I think the ages go from 14 to 16, and there's a lot of fishing going on around the country. There've been some great developments, haven't there, in angling? I was reading the other day.
Oh, trust me, these are good anglers. I went to one of 2 junior matches last year, and I can't believe the standard of junior angling, how good they are. And that's down to commercial fisheries like this, because they can go, it's easy. But when you watch these, when they fish their national, for the qualifier, the only thing they've got in their mind is to get it top 6 to qualify for FishOMania. That's the only thing they speak and want to do. That's all they talk about. Is the 7th man must be absolutely distraught, because they only talk about getting the top 6 so they can qualify for FishOMania.
Well, we've got 16 of the top anglers who have qualified for the main event for the £50,000 today. We have the ladies, we have the juniors, and also on the main lake we have 6 top quality anglers from around Europe. To give us an introduction, here's Ben Ransom.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rob. Good afternoon. This is the international match. You can probably see behind me Mario Nabauer just settling off. He had an 18-hour drive from close to the Austrian border to get here. Left yesterday, arrived, and had a very slow start, but just managed to get his first catch today. That'll make him feel a whole lot better. Behind him, on peg number 2, this guy has got bags of experience. Emilio Colombo, Milo. He's been fishing, he's told me, for over 50 years, so he has got lots of experience. 4-time former world team champion with Italy as well, so lots of experience on the first 2 pegs here. Around to peg number 3, and this chap, the Belgian Eric Devanti, got the first catch of this competition, this international match, so he was right on the buzzer. He was the man to reel in the first fish. He's been fishing for 18 years himself, so he's got plenty of experience too. So that's the first 3 pegs, and then we've got what is a little bit of a gap and a walk along to the 4th peg, and the Frenchman who's just getting himself set. Up here we've got Adam Niemix, the Pole, on peg number 4. Now this guy has been a family man. He's come right through the system. He likes skiing, he likes music. He should be, believe it or not, at a Bruce Springsteen concert today, but he's not. He's here at FishOMania. That's how much it means to these international guys. On peg number 5, you'll be able to see there the Frenchman Mathieu Villain. He is a man who has also got plenty of experience as well. 4 times a French team champion there. He's works for HR company, and beyond him on peg number 6 to round up the international competition here, Jürgen Spearings, former world team champion once again, as so many of these men are. With regards to the rain, many of the anglers here not particularly keen, although Jürgen told me when he arrived that it's been raining in the Netherlands for the last 3 months, so he wasn't bothered one jot.
Well, Keith, they've come a long way. Plane, train, automobile and ferry to join us today, our international stars.
They're looking forward to the day as well. I was speaking to Milo. I've known Milo for a very long time, and I was speaking to him this morning. His bank runner, Steve Gardner, the turncoat, as Tommy calls him. Steve calls Fish for England for many, many years, and now he's Milo's coach, and they'll put on a good show today, those 6, I'll tell you.
Well, there we go. The scene is set. Not a lot else to do on this Saturday afternoon. It's not exactly barbecue or picnic weather out there, is it? So pull a percussion, sit back on your sofa and enjoy the fishing. Reminder of the rules: every half an hour you will hear a hooter in the background, and we'll find out exactly how many fish the anglers have caught in that half-hour period, and during the course of the afternoon the cumulative total of all of the fish caught decides who the champion is. Half an hour has flown by, and they will get an indication of exactly what they've managed to catch in the opening half an hour. I think we can go down now to the water's edge and first of all hear from Rob Dorset.
Yeah, Rob, I tell you what a start it's been on this side of the lake. All of the pegs behind me, 1 to 4, have been catching. Andy Power, one of the early favourites, has tried a different method. He's feeding the area up. He's had 1 or 2 big carp. We'll see what he's weighed in a moment, but I'm going to call this guy up now because Kerry Kirkwood has absolutely started like a rocket. He's got at least 3 or 4 big bream in there. I reckon he's caught more than 20 fish already. And Les Marshall on peg 3 just behind us as well has done well, but they really have been starting very, very quickly. They're just very gently and taking the keep net out now. They call our steward here the stealth steward, by the way. Look, he sneaks in over the grass, under cover. But look at that, that's half an hour's worth of fishing. That is quite a keep net right at the start, isn't it, for Kerry Kirkwood? I think he's absolutely delighted with the way it started. From the very moment he put a hook bait in that lake, he started catching. Look, we've got a good couple of big bream in there. There's a couple of carp as well. They said, didn't they, the tactic was going to be try and catch anything that swims. Well, he's done that. What a start. It's over half a kilo already. Let's hear from Mike from the Angling Trust.
OK, Kerry Kirkwood, peg 4, 5 kilos, 700.
5 kilos, 700. What a start from Kerry Kirkwood. Let's see how Andy Ford is getting on the next few pegs.
5 kilos, eh? That's not a bad start, is it? Right, we're behind Andy May on peg 5. I just asked his bank runner, Andy Bennett, to bring Andy's keep net up. Now, just to warn you, Andy has told me that he's already lost count of how many fish Andy May has caught. He said 14 or 15. He had a bit of a slow start, 3 chucks on the feeder before switching to a pole line. Most of what he's caught is those F1 carp that Keith was talking about in the studio a few minutes ago. You can see they're small. Don't think we're going to be up to 5 kilo. Don't know, we might be somewhere around. We're on 500 grams there. They weren't zeroed, were they, Andre? They were. 3 kilos.
3 kilos, exactly.
So exactly 3 kilos for the first weigh-in for Andy May on peg 5. Over to Jenna.
We're here at peg 11 with Ross Harold, and Dave, if we can just grab the keep net, we're going to weigh in now. He's had a really consistent start. He really hasn't stopped since well, in this first half an hour. We're just going to bring the fish over and put them on the scales and see how well he has gotten off to. As I said, he's been really consistent. Dave, his bank runner, is actually his father. I'll tell you more about that in a moment, but let's just see what he has caught in this first half hour.
3 kilos, 175.
So that's 3 kilos, 175. Rob Hughes, what have you got for us?
Well, we've got a bit of action going on at the moment, so we're not going to interfere while Jamie's playing a fish. But as you can see, he's got off to an absolutely flying start. There it is, that's in the net. The weigh purse has been zeroed on the scales here, and the fish will now be brought out. Let's have a look. He's had an absolutely flying start, to be honest. We thought it was going to be pretty slow over here, but there's probably 10, 12 fish over there. So let's get these out. He's had a number of small carp. Let's have a look. Get them in, please. There they all are. That is a great start. To coin Jamie's words, 1 a bung so far. Nothing massive yet. Bob, can we just step this way a little bit, please, so we can have a look in there? Let's have a look. Where are we? 3 kilos 400.
3 kilos 400.
3 kilos 400. Jamie Hughes from an unfancied peg. That is an absolutely flying start. Brilliant stuff.
Thank you, Rob. Our reporters will be keeping us informed of exactly what's going on this afternoon. This has been the busiest start to a FishOMania in living memory. Down there on peg 4, Kerry Kirkwood, as you can see, is hauling them in. We're expecting almost a fish a minute the way that this lake is fishing this year. Just a reminder of how it works, FishOMania, if you haven't seen one of the 22 previous episodes over the years. We have a weigh-in every 30 minutes, and the cumulative total come, was about 5:05 this afternoon, is the winner of FishOMania. After half an hour, it's Kerry Kirkwood who's got out of the traps very quickly. We did anticipate yesterday that it would be the pegs kind of 1 to 7 that were going to be the favourites, and then that has proven pegs 2, 3 and 4 have been fishing very well. Kerry with 5.7 kilos. Great start for Les Marshall, who I think was the first to bag a fish this afternoon. And Andy Power, who's an experienced angler from Wells in Somerset, is a match angler by profession, has made a good start as well. That's the top of the leaderboard. A little surprising that Andy May, who's resident here, well, he's got 3 kilos so far. He is in joint 8th position. Do we have anybody who hasn't caught a fish so far? No. Everybody has got something in the opening half an hour, which is a great start, Keith.
It is, and you know, Neil said right at the beginning, it's going to be a fair match, and it's very like the home internationals, isn't it? The size of the fish, the carp aren't playing a part, the bigger carp. It's all down to catching the right size of fish and catching them consistently. And we've seen anglers like Des Ship and Will Raisin over the years just take the match apart just by doing it, by catching
3 kilo every way. 2 and 3 kilo.
Away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at those figures there. I mean, obviously Kerry's took an early lead, but there's 8 anglers there between, you know, all at a 3 kilo something, and that's incredibly close.
One of the tactics I thought would work today were to start close and work out with the fish. And already, like you watch Casper there, straight away he started short, he's caught the fish, and also he's got another section on, and he's starting to do that already and starting to feed with catapult. And I think you'll find out. That's what's happening all the time, apart from Kerry. He's still sacking up with looking at that.
He's catching bigger quality fish. Very interesting to see. You can just see there his shotting pattern.
Yeah.
He's got small shot about 1 inch apart, and that's really for the lift and drop method, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah, that's something I wanted to mention. I mean, we talked about it being a very tactical way of catching the fish.
There are big crowds there. One or two of the guys said, I'm a bit concerned that the fish are going to get spooked by the people behind me and the noise and the lights and things like that.
It'll affect them. It never affected me.
No.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I didn't mind having a gallery at all. I'll talk to them.
You don't know they're there.
No.
Yeah.
You've got 2 choices. One of the things I always said about FishOMania is there's lots of things, it's not a normal match. And because of the cameras, people and everything like that. And one of the things I always said is, well, you mustn't get wound up by people and everything like that. And I always went to enjoy the day and have a talk and have a laugh and enjoy fishing as well. Otherwise, you just blow your brains out. And it's that sort of match. It really is. You just enjoy it, but they don't know they're there, honestly. They're just
Look at one of the greatest match anglers that ever lived, Ivan Marks.
Yeah, he was the best.
It was like he was on the stage. Every match he fished, there'd be a crowd turning up and he'd be talking.
He was an entertainer.
He was an entertainer, yeah. And Andy Mays of the same ilk.
Yes, he is.
I mean, all the anglers are different. They've all got different temperaments. But I think some of the people who've fished the FishOMania final more than once, they'll be calm about it. And even some who fished it for the first time, there's a lot of anglers out there who are cool, calm customers. And I personally think they'll be conscious of the crowd behind them, but once they get in the zone and they get fishing and they don't look behind them, they'll just concentrate on what they're doing. And I think it won't affect most of them.
Yeah. Well, our Emma, in 2010, our Emma said to me it's the only time she's ever seen me nervous in a match. She said, I've never ever seen my dad nervous in a match till that day. And that tells you how much is going on during the match. She says she's never seen me nervous before.
The thing is as well, Tom, as a top match angler, you tend to, that little bit of nervous just takes 10% off your performance, I think. The calmer you are, the more prepared you are.
It's inside, Keith.
It is, yeah.
It's all about what happens inside. You've got to control it. You know, I go away with my lads in World Championships, and I call it the 3 C's. You know, cool, calm and concentrate. If you're cool, you'll stay calm, and if you're calm, you'll concentrate. The 3 C's.
Well, it's all very tight at the top of the leaderboard so far. Kerry Kirkwood on peg 4 from Earlham, who's a metre operator, has got the scales ringing round. He had a great start. We're just getting official weight of he was 5.7. Andy May's done well. Ian Giddings over there on peg 9 as well. We've got all of the scores now from the second weigh, and of course after an hour of FishOMania we have a weigh-in every 30 minutes. Nathan there started in the top 10. He's not on the top of the leaderboard now. Kerry Kirkwood got 2 kilos in the last weigh-in, giving him a total overall so far of 7.7 kilos. Andy May, who's resident, the local angler, he was in 8th position. He's moved from 8th to 2nd position with the best catch in the last half an hour of just under 4 kilos. In 3rd place is Ian Giddings, who was in 4th place before. He's over there on peg 9. Ian is our factory worker from Kidderminster. It's his first ever FishOMania. He's had a good start. Another newbie is Ross Harold on peg 9. Ross in the last half an hour at 3.375 kilos, giving them a total so far of 5.725 kilos. And there's not much, well, a very short spread between 8th and 1st place.
And that's what we want.
Yeah, perfect.
You want a good half hour to change it, and we've seen that happen already.
Yeah. And you can't discount any of these guys. In previous years, people have got off to a flyer, people have had a slow start, we've sometimes gone 90 minutes without anybody catching anything. But everybody's got something in the bag, and if you can get 5-6 kilos an hour, then you stand a great chance.
It's going to be more difficult to catch up because, you know, when Tommy and Neil had their battle, you could get 5 kilos in one bite.
Yeah.
That probably isn't going to happen today.
No.
5 kilos is probably going to be 20 fish if they're quality fish.
Yeah.
And that's a lot to make up in 1/2 hour.
We have 16 pegs, remember, in the FishOMania final. You can see a gap down there, but that is occupied by our international anglers. They come from Germany, Italy, Belgium, Poland, France and Holland. Not so far away is the destination of our reporter, Ben Ransom.
Yeah, thank you very much, Rob. I've come down to what is Netherlands for the day with Jurgen Spearing, because he is leading after what has proved a really interesting first weighing here on the international match. Looking at the leaderboard, he's pulled in 8.025 kilograms to lead this competition, and of course that's a score that would put him ahead of the main competition as well. So he's had a really good opening hour here on the international match. He's ahead of Adam Niemiec of Poland, who's pulled in at 6.375 kilos. Behind them, Milo Colombo, the experienced Italian, 4.125 kilos for him. Then we've got Eric De Venti from Belgium, Mario Nabauer, who had a very slow start but came back, and then Mathieu Villain of France is struggling just a little bit. Now, you can probably see from where we are geographically, we're right at the end on peg 6 of where the international match is taking place. And just across the water over there, you'll see our leader of the main competition as well over on peg 4. So you can see that this side of the lake tends to be favourable conditions at the moment. If you look at the ripples on the water as well, the wind coming in here may be giving the anglers on this side just a little bit of an advantage. And from what we've seen stood around the international match, the first 3 pegs, 1 to 3, have been landing fewer fish, but they have tended to be a slightly larger average size. Whereas down here, Jurgen Spearing's behind me, the Dutch competitor, has been reeling them in ever since the klaxon went at the very start. It's been a constant flow, but they tend to be a slightly smaller size. At the moment, it's paying off for him, though, and well, the sun comes out, it's heating up, Rob.
Well, it's lovely and warm here in the studio. Down there on the main lake, it's shirt-sleeved weather. On peg 4 is Kerry Kirkwood, who has got the lead at the moment with 7.7 kilos. And he doesn't look like stopping, does he? He's a lean, mean fishing machine, Keith. There is Andy May, who we know is talking a good game. He knows that the hooter is imminent. He's got another fish in the bag just before the hooter goes. And of course, it's going to come down to who has the most fish. Cumulative at around 5:05 this afternoon. But Andy May's put up a great fight. Kerry Kirkwood is currently leading with 7.7 kilos, a difference of 0.75 kilos, a small fish in Cudmore terms this afternoon. Ian Giddens, should I say, is doing well. Another newbie, Ross Harold, another debutant in Robert Minkin. They are in the top 5 at the moment. The afternoon is developing, Keith, isn't it? It's going to go right to the wire, I think, this one.
I think this next one is going to be incredibly close. Although we've seen Kerry catch those quality fish, we've not seen him catch so many, but Andy has been just busy. He's just been busy catching fish. And the difference is as well, where Kerry's been using, we've seen him putting pellets on hook. You miss a bite on a pellet or lift into a liner, your pellet comes off because they're so soft. The wormhead stays on. You can sometimes catch 4 or 5 fish on the same wormhead without the wormhead deteriorating. So it's a brilliant bait for speed fishing. Whereas pellets are a bit like caster, aren't they, Tom? They're a slow bait. They either fall off or they lose shape or something, whereas wormheads are just perfect.
I always think with soft pellets, if it's a low weight and you leave it a bit longer, then you want a soft pellet on. But usually, if you can get them on, like you just said, if you can get them on worm, you're going to get 4 or 5 fish, maybe on even on the same bit of worm.
Is he changing that bit?
Yeah, he's changing.
It's a percentages game.
I love his match. I love what he's doing. Actually, he's busy. He's feeding lines up for later on in match, and he's not even thought about going up feeder yet. No. He's got that to reserve to. But if he catches off both lines, then he'll win it. Yeah. That's what I think.
Things are developing here at Cudmore in Staffordshire. It's going to be a fantastic fishing match this afternoon. A great weekend of sport in the UK, but will any be more competitive than this? Well, 28 heats, almost 4,500 tickets have been sold for FishOMania in terms of people trying to qualify here. We're down to the final 16. The man who finished 4th last year is on peg 4, and peg 4 won it last year, is Kerry Kirkwood. But at the moment, the most important number for him is number 1 because he is the top of the leaderboard after 3 weigh-ins. Let's get down and see how things are developing in those favoured pegs 1 to 4 with our reporter Rob Dorset.
Yeah, Robbie, we've just got Kerry Kirkwood's net out here now. He's been catching consistently again, Mr. Consistent. Although I have to put into context, not as big as his first net. Just to let you know, pegs 2, 3 and 4 in the first half hour hauled out over 13 kilos of fish in half an hour in 3 pegs. Quite extraordinary. It's quietened down a lot over this area since then. But Kerry Kirkwood's our leader. This will set the target for Andy May and the rest to see if they can catch him.
Peg 4. 1 kilo, 850 grams.
That's Mark from the Angling Tryst. 1 kilo, 850 grams for Kerry Kirkwood. That takes him over 9.5 kilos in total for this stage. Can Andy May beat that? Andy Ford's over there to tell us.
We'll see in a second, Rob. We'll see in a second. OK, Andy Bennett's going to grab Andy's net. It's been an interesting half hour, that's for certain. Although Andy May has had lots of bites, and you saw him when he was mic'd up playing a couple of fish. Lots of the fish that he seems to have caught in this half hour have been a little bit smaller, so maybe he has a few more bites, but the fish that he's actually landed have been a bit smaller. Decent net of fish, and it's so close at the top of this. I know one person in the studio will be enjoying this match hugely, which is Tommy Pickering, whose motto in life and watching fishing is never come back without a fish. Well, that's exactly what Andy May's been doing. Let's have a little look here, Andre. What's he got?
3 kilos, 700.
Fantastic, isn't it? Oh, hang on.
Yep, 3 kilos, 700.
3 kilos, 700 from Andy May. All those small fish adding up into 3 kilos, 700. I fancy that might put him in the lead. Jenna, what's happening over on there with you?
Yeah, we're back here at peg 9 with Ian Giddens. He's currently in 3rd position. He's had another consistent half hour. Dan, if we can just grab the keep net, we'll bring it around and weigh in. As I said, he's been consistent again this half hour. We'll weigh in and see if he can keep touch with the leaders. It's, of course, Ian's first FishOMania final, and you wouldn't know it because he's really relaxed. He seems to really be enjoying himself. He has a smile on his face, and I think he's having some fun. As you see the fish there about to go in and be weighed, I'm just going to walk around and we will see if he can keep touch with the leaders. We've got Dick Clegg here who will read out the weight.
3 kilos, 225 grams. Good mixed bag.
So that is a very good mixed bag. I think that takes him over, my calculations, about 9 kilos. But Rob, you've got something else for us?
Yeah, we gave Kerry Kirkwood a bit of a disservice in that last half hour because there was another fish stuck in his landing net, in his keep net rather, that we didn't weigh. So instead of that just under 2 kilo haul we told you about, it's actually 2 kilos, 125 grams. For Kerry Kirkwood in that one. I don't think it's enough to take him past Andy May. I think Andy May is our new leader, but Kerry Kirkwood still very much in the hunt.
We have all of the catches in the last half an hour. We've done our sums. We can tell you at the top of the leaderboard is Andy May with a catch of 10.65 kilos, 3.7 in the last half an hour. That was the best weigh of half an hour. Remember, for most of that time, he was having a chat with the lads in the studio as well. Ian Giddens has come through with 3.225 kilos, and that's on peg 9, which wasn't too fancy during the course of the afternoon. Kerry Kirkwood got up to an absolute flyer, but things have slowed down for him over there on that peg 4. He's dropped from 1st place into 3rd place, and one of our new competitors, Robert Harold, has moved into the top 4. He's over there on peg 11. In fact, he stayed on the top 4, and Robert Minkin is doing as well on peg 6. He was on one of the fancied pegs this afternoon, but still only 5 kilos between 8th and top place. In the last half an hour, only one of the anglers out there failed to catch a fish, and that was Ryan Lingard, who's in 2nd to last position. Paul Wright on that peg 16. We can see peg 15, 16, peg 13. That tells a story, doesn't it? That's where the fish are not congregating this afternoon.
What's weird, though, they had a little match on here yesterday, And I came up to make sure everything was all right up here. And I watched the angler on peg 16. He was fishing shallow. He was using a technique called slapping, where he's got his rig and he's slapping it on the surface to imitate feed. Then he'd feed some bait. Then he'd slap some more. And I watched him for about 10 minutes. He didn't catch anything. Then suddenly, boom, 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 4 or 5 of those big F1s. He put, you know, a couple of 2.5 kilo in his net in double quick time. And those fish were there. Now, we know they move about, don't we, Tom? They've got fins and they decide where they want to be. But the wind plays a huge role as well. It's more or less on their back there, and it's not what you want it to be.
What's happening in them numbers is they're not catching them F1s that they're catching in the where the wind is, and that's the problem. And they're probably thinking in their brain, I can't catch them up unless I catch carp. Unfortunately, there's not as many carp in as there used to be, so they're always going to be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah, I think
that's the biggest problem.
Yeah, as we approach, you know, 2 hours, halfway mark, those anglers will start to think about alternative tactics.
Yeah, they will, yeah.
As Keith said, the chap who was fishing yesterday caught some shallow and slightly better quality fish. And quite often, the small fish can be on the bottom and the bigger fish swimming around shallow. So it'll be interesting to see how they change.
We've got seconds remaining before we have the next hooter. It is, well, it's very tight at the top. Kerry Kirkwood on peg 4 has been continually catching. Kerry got off to a great start, but had a slow previous half an hour. He's got 9.825 kilos. He's sitting in 3rd place. There is our leader on 10.65 kilos during the course of the afternoon. The local lad and the favourite with the bookies, Andy May. Well, this is a gentleman we haven't seen a great deal of this afternoon. It is David Woodworth, who is fishing for the first time in the final of FishOMania. He comes from Upton on the Wirral. His best ever catch was a bull shark, 150 pounds. He's not going to be finding one of those in Staffordshire this afternoon. And David, at the moment, has had a complete catch of exactly 5 kilos. But things can change as time progresses here in Staffordshire. Previous winner and the champion of champions, Nathan Watson, our Jamie Vardy lookalike, down there on peg 13. Hasn't hit the back of the net too often, unlike his lookalike over there in Leicestershire. Hear the hooter in the background. The anglers will be very keen to find out what they have caught in the last half an hour. Our 16 competitors are right deep into FishOMania 23. Top of the leaderboard as we await our next weigh-in is Andy Mayo, so the lead of 1.5 kilos over his nearest competitor, Ross Harold, one of our newbies in FishOMania. Ian Giddins as well is experiencing the big event for the first time around the major lake. He's in 3rd place. Kerry Kirkwood, who's in his 4th FishOMania, finished 4th last year in 2015. So he's going to pay off the mortgage if he wins FishOMania. Well, at the moment, Kerry may be still paying the mortgage payments next month, the month after, and however many years to come as well. Robert Minikin, who is much fancied on peg 6, had a decent half an hour, 1.5 or 1.65 kilos. And alongside him in the last weighing was Jamie Hughes with 3.325 kilos. He's in 6th place, and remember, Jamie is much fancied. One of only 2-time winners. Nobody's ever won FishOMania 3 times. He is a quality angler. I mean, it's rather difficult at the bottom of the pile for Paul Wright on peg 16, Ryan Lygard peg 15, Ben Fisk on 14, Stuart Fotheringham on 13. They're currently in those final positions. None of them enjoying their first experience of FishOMania. Well, the angling bit anyway. They're enjoying the cameras and the lights being on them and everybody backslapping them in the pubs. But it's a cruel experience so far. Meanwhile, a picture of calm punching the afternoon summer out. We've seen Andy May. A lot of money was placed on Andy when the pegs were announced yesterday, the much favoured peg 5, and he is the local angler, the Angling Coach of the Year 2014. And as we've seen, he not only talks a good game, teaches a good game, but he is a quality angler as well.
Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. But I had a chat with Ross this morning. He's a proper Essex boy, really good lad, and he was so thrilled to be here, and he is doing a fantastic job. Not a fancied area, and he's got something. This I'll tell you, this lad's got something.
Yeah, that's a
It's a lovely fish, that.
Yeah, they're the fish you want. Yeah.
I mean, he's got what's he got 12 kilo now. There's only 1.5 kilos behind Andy. He's fishing a great match, and not, like you said, not a good area. He's doing really well.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's changed his way of fishing yet. I don't think he's changed his tactics because he's only behind us, so we can keep looking at him.
Yeah.
And every time I look round, he's on the same line, so he must be fishing the same tactics all the time.
And that's one of the keys of it, Tom, isn't it? When your first decision is the right decision.
Oh, makes a
massive
massive
we saw
difference.
anglers start on the feeder, and we were wondering about that here because the big carp aren't there. There's some in, but they're not in the numbers that they were.
Well, we find it, all of us find it strange that people actually cast feeder out to start with. Not that we're against what they're doing, but we all seem to know it. We're going to be a small fish race, and you had to start short and move that way. So it were a really weird situation there. Because if on this type of fishing, if you'll get behind, you can't catch them back up.
No.
You can't catch these good anglers back up. It's impossible. Because they're going to put between 2.5 and 3.5 kilo in the net every half hour.
Which means you've got to get that with knobs on.
Yes, you've got to do that with a bit more. It's very difficult to do.
I also
now, how's that for consistency? So that's his Manhattan, and we've seen it's barely a change between the first hour. He's just over 3 kilo in the first hour, and his last hour, his worst hour, he still had he's had close. He's had 2.5 kilo, which is you know.
Yeah.
That, and what you were saying, top 5 every weight. Look at that. That's a proper fish for Ross. Look at that.
Look at that one.
Well, the tactics in layman's terms have been lots of small fish this afternoon, but Ross
kilo,
Harold has broken the mould.
It's a kilo there. There's a fish Kerry Kirkwood was catching at the very start.
And that fish alone has took him almost level with Andy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Get it in there.
Well, fish for fish, like for like, catch for catch, but Andy's fish not as big as Ross Harold's fish. Remember, the difference between the two anglers at the last weigh-in was 1.5 kilos, which is roughly what that big fish was.
That was a kilo, yeah. That was Andy would have put some other fish in his net as well.
We have 3 minutes to the next weigh-in.
Look at that.
5 hours of top-class fishing here on Sky Sports. We're halfway through it. We're going to go down to our reporters. We'll go to Jenna Brooks in a moment, but she's just been having a bit of makeup applied and her hair retonged. No such problems, though, on pegs 13 to 16 with Rob Hughes, rough and ready.
Rob, mine's always absolutely perfect, as you can see, absolutely perfect. But I'm down here at peg 13, Nathan Watson. Now, in this segment at the moment, it isn't quite as good as over there. However, we've got a sub-battle going on between Jamie Hughes and Nathan next door to him. And there's a lot of banter and sledging going on. But let's have a look. We saw him catch a decent tench. This is a tench down there. So we see lots of different types of tench, or sizes of tench, should I say. These are the ones we don't want. The little ones, they're a bit of a pest. But these big ones, they're the ones that we do want. That's a tench. That's what we want. I asked Nathan whether he was targeting them specifically. He's a big fish angler. He said, yes, I'm targeting them. It's complete and utter luck. So let's have a look what he's got. The big question now is, where is the fiver going to go between Jamie and Nathan? Jamie's not had a particularly good segment. 1575. We'll find out what's happening with Jamie. As soon as the camera's gone off me now, there'll be a bit of banter between these two, no doubt. But for the moment, let's find out with Jenna what's going on over on your pegs.
Well, what is going on is the wind has really picked up, hence the hair and makeup. But moving on to Ross Harold, who you just heard from moments ago, he's had another fantastic half hour. Dave, if we can just grab his keep net and we'll bring it across to the scales. There's looks to be a few big skimmers in there. He's currently 1.5 kilos behind Andy May, and of course we're going to see if he can keep touch with May over on peg 5. This looks... And we'll go to Dick.
Look at that, Jenna. It's a good weight, this, isn't it?
Great.
4 kilos, 425.
Wow, 4 kilos, 425. A fantastic half hour for Ross Harold. Andy Ford, what have you got for us?
4 kilos, fantastic. Right then, Mr. Bennett, if you'd do the honours, please. Now, it wouldn't be a big surprise to me if Andy May has matched that weight gram for gram because he's had a fantastic half hour. Interesting that he's started to get a few bigger fish. Let's have a little. He's got one really nice tench in this net. Don't know if it's going to be 4 kilos, but going to be interesting to see what's going on. Andy's fishing worm on the hook, which now he's not got as many F1s as I thought. Quite nice tench there, as you can see. Well, this could change the game a little bit. I thought there was a bit more than it looks. Andre, what we got here? Oh.
2 kilos, 525.
Only 2.5 kilos for Andy May. The gap was 1.5 kilos. That's closed. Rob Dorset.
Yes, well, we've got Kerry Kirkwood here, who's, well, he went a little bit quiet, but he's picking up again. He's just lost a big tench, actually, a moment or two ago, and his bank runner told me it was over 2 pounds in its own right, and he was kicking himself. But he's got a decent haul here, some big bream in here. He's got a barbel in there as well, I'm told. But it's starting to pick up for Kerry Kirkwood, but with Ian Giddins over there with 4.5 kilos in that 1.5 hour, that is what he's got to try and keep up with. And I don't think it's quite going to do that. You can see there's a nice tension there and a couple of big bream. Right, let's stick him on the scales, see where we're at, Mark. He'd lost ground a little bit at Kerry Kirkwood, but this hopefully will bring him back in contention. Yes, over 4 kilos.
4 kilos and 75 grams.
Brilliant from Kirkwood. 4 kilos and 75 grams. He's now fishing down the margin, and it's paying dividends.
And he's still catching Kerry Kirkwood down there on peg 4. We are behind the scenes, getting to grips with exactly what is happening on the 16 pegs around the Arena Lake. Another one in the back there for Kerry Kirkwood. Tell you what, we've had 2 4-kilo plus catches in the last half an hour. One of these anglers is going to take home the £50,000. It used to be winner takes all. Oh. Now there is a second place. There's £10,000 for second place. So it's not just fun they're angling out there. It's not just the fame as well. There's a lot of money at stake. It can be a life-changing event for these anglers. Well, at the halfway mark, this is confirmation of where the 16 anglers stand. We have a new leader, Ross Harold, on peg 11 from Tilbury, the warehouse manager, who's backed up by his dad on the bank, his first time in FishOMania. He's only been fishing for 9 years. One of our younger competitors, 26 years of age, is leading. In second place, I was going to say the old master. He's not that old, but he knows his way around here. He's from nearby, Andy May from Middlewich. He's been in the final twice before. He's never won FishOMania. This is his best chance ever because this is his home ground, his home water. A top-class angling coach, a top-class angler as well, Andy May. Kerry Kirkwood had a good half an hour. He had just over 4 kilos in the last half an hour, giving him a total of 15.275 kilos. Ian Giddins went a little bit quieter for Ian over on peg 9. He's dropped from 3rd place into 4th with a catch in the last half an hour of 2.4 kilos. Robert Milliken, as the guys keep saying, if you can keep catching 2 kilos, 2.5 kilos every half an hour, that cumulative total might stand you in good stead come 5:05 this afternoon. And Robert Milliken in the last half an hour got just over 2 kilos. He's got a total of 12.35. I don't know at what point, Keith, we can start discounting some of these guys on the bottom half of the leaderboard. Dale Stone's 8.4 kilos is, what is he? He's kind of halfway behind the leader. So they've got to start catching in the final 2.5 hours. Can we discount these now?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think we can catch up. If Tommy's right, which he usually is, and we're going to get 30 kilo winning the match, they've got to get 22. Dale has got to get 20 kilo plus in 4 weights. Yeah.
Unless they catch some big fish now, it ain't going to happen.
But they've got to get that in front of the others.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. It's not good. I mean, I've just seen Jamie now, he's back on tip, and we've seen him catch the carp. And I think he's thought, I can't catch these lads up unless I catch some better fish, because he's only fishing to win. Yeah. He's not fishing for hotels. No. And he's obviously changed and gone for it now, because he's probably, even with 9 kilos, he's probably thinking, crikey, I'm 7 kilos behind. If I stick on that, I can't catch him up. Yeah. So I might as well gamble.
Yeah. Well, that's our new leader, Ross Harold. On peg 11 is currently, that's the important word, in 1st place. He has half a kilo lead over Andy May, the expert from these parts, but making his debut in FishOMania. He said he was enjoying it. He's clearly a man of his word, Ross Harold. Well, now remaining of the international competition, we finish at 5:05 with our main FishOMania event. But the first event of the afternoon is over. They started at 11 o'clock over there on the Suez Canal, which is where the juniors are competing. One of them is going to get £1,000 in pocket money. Who will it be? Julie Collier.
Well, we're just about to find out, Rob, because the junior event finished around 15 minutes ago. We've weighed in 5 of the competitors. Jack Demant is currently leading the way with 17 kilos 200, and you've been watching all the others weighed in. You were the first one to be weighed in. Pretty nervous.
Yeah, no, my heart's pounding. It's in, don't know.
What do you think?
I think he's got me, to be fair.
Well, this is Tom Edwards we're going to weigh in now, who was on peg 5. So if we could weigh in Tom Edwards, I think these two are going to end up being the top 2. Which one has won, we're not too sure yet. Jack was 4 pegs away, so wouldn't really been able to see too much of what Tom was catching, but it's between these two anyway. Tom Edwards is just putting his fish here into the net, ready to be weighed. There's another net coming out as well. Tom Edwards, of course, the reigning national champion. He's won that title the last 2 years in a row. Is he going to add the title of Junior FishOMania Champion 2016 to those national championships? Last batch of fish heading into the net there. Both of these guys just 16 years of age. Here we go. The excitement around here between these juniors is unbelievable. They want this so much. The scales are saying 16-something, which means Jack Demant has won Junior FishOMania. Jack, I could see how much that meant to you. How can you sum that up?
I can't put in a word, just, I don't know. That hadn't sunk in. Oh, I'll jump in now, won't I?
You're going to have to in a minute, but before that, tell me how you're going to spend £1,000.
More sections for my pole, fishing stuff, don't know. I don't know. Shut up.
And happily, it was you that told me that the junior champion does have to jump in the water. So would you like to make your way over to the bank now? Congratulations. Jack Demant, just 16 years of age from Ipswich, the winner of Junior FishOMania 2016. He told me that the winner had to jump into the water. So here he goes.
I'm getting that wet. I can leave them on. Leave them on. I'll come with the line. Nice and top. Ready, go on then, go first. Go on, lads.
Here's a bigger bait. Here's a big one. Yeah.
I know he's got his family there. I think the trusty family dog was lending young Jack Demant some support as well. He looked absolutely speechless. I think he thought he knew he'd won, but he didn't want the emotion to come out, did he? You could see what it meant, £1,000 richer. Our teenager from Ipswich. We have a competitor who's 23 years of age in Les Marshall. He's not on the leaderboard at the moment. We do believe, after our last weigh-in, that the lead has been extended. In fact, there is confirmation. Ross Harold on peg 11, who's only 26 years of age himself, only been fishing for 9 years. But he's clearly been a very quick learner. He is now leading Andy May by, well, almost a kilo, 0.85 kilos. Went a little bit quiet for Andy in the last half an hour. He got 2 kilos in the bag. Ian Giddings got just under 2 kilos in the bag. It went quiet for Kerry Kirkwood. But coming up quietly on the outside is Jason Collins, who had 3.7 kilos, and joining him in the top half of the leaderboard is David Woodworth, who had 4.75 kilos in the last half an hour, so he is in the top 8. I think the winner is going to come from those 8 competitors. Don't discount Jamie Hughes, the reigning champion. Maybe we can discount the bottom 8 here. It's been a difficult afternoon, and first FishOMania for Ryan Ligard, Stuart Fotheringham, Paul Wright, Nathan Watson. It hasn't been a great return for Nathan, who won FishOMania, I think it was back in 2002. It's been a long wait, 16 years to reclaim the title, but it's not been his afternoon so far. But congratulations to Ross Harold. Here is Kerry Kirkwood, who started the first hour with the best weights in the bag, and he cannot be discounted. He's 16.075 kilos, just a couple of kilos behind Ross Harold, who is the favourite at this moment in time.
If Ross averages 2.5 kilo, that's 10 kilo, which will put him nearly 29 kilo. it's hard then for other people to catch that. As long as and that's what we go back to. One of the first things that we said, well, just keep putting a fish in net. Now that really comes home now. Yeah. Just keep putting a fish in net. Just keep catching one, because they can't catch it if you keep putting a fish in the net.
Well, we have 4 first-timers on pegs 9, 10 and 11 and 12. 9, 10, 11 and 12 in FishOMania this year. And it's a first-time reporter in Jenna Brooks, and she is proving to be the lady of the lake and lady luck for our anglers down there.
Well, let's hope so. Yes, that's right. I am at peg 11 with Ross Harold, and he has his dad with him. And Dave, if we can bring that over. And it's funny because when it was announced that he still held the lead after the last weigh-in, which was the 6th weigh-in, a huge roar went up. I looked over at Ross's face and he looked focused, determined. You would never know that it is his first FishOMania. And of course his dad is here. The reason he asked his dad to be his bank runner is because he says he keeps him calm. And I tell you what, it's been working so far today. As the fish go in, we'll put them on the scales. I'll walk around to Dick, if you could.
That's a good weigh, this one. It's only 800 grams.
800 grams. So we will see if he continues to lead FishOMania. Andy, forward to you now.
Thanks, Jenna. Peg 5, Andy May. Mr. Bennett, would you do the honours? Now, quiet half hour for Andy, but okay. The fish keep coming. They just haven't really turned up as we'd hoped. The guys were saying that they were hoping that the match would develop as it went along and they'd start to catch a few more, but it's actually slowed down quite a lot. Interested to see what's in here, bearing in mind how close it was before we went into this one. Well, that's going to be a kilo-ish, I think. Let's have a little look. The scores on the doors here, Andre.
1 kilo 300.
So for Andy May, 1 kilo 300 from peg 5. 1 kilo 300 for Andy May.
Yeah, now that gives this guy a chance, because Kerry Kirkwood has had a pretty good half hour. He got a big bream in there, which we reckon might be a kilo in its own right. You'll see it when it drops into the weighing net here, and he's got quite a few F1s on top of that, so we reckon this could be over 2 kilos, which will do more than keep him, look, there's that big beautiful bream, look, that'll keep him more than just in contention. It may even get him closer, certainly to Andy May, and he will hope towards Ross Harold. He's just changed to the method feeder, which is exactly what he did last year. He was going second at some stage last year. Go on, Mark, tell us.
2 kilos, 900 grams.
2 kilos, 900 grams. So that's actually put him 1.5 kilos ahead of Andy May on that particular half hour. It's put him right back up there. And as I say, he finished 4th in the final last year. He was 2nd for a big chunk of time. And his big improvement was late in the day last year when he changed to the method feeder. Exactly the same thing is happening this year round as well.
At the moment, it is Ross Harold, and we've done our sums behind the scenes, and Ross is leading by 0.3 of a kilo, 300 grams from Andy May, who's the resident coach in these parts. Ross is a first-timer in the final of FishOMania. He's got his dad on his shoulder. Dad's the word. He's only been fishing 9 years. Andy has been fishing in comparison a lifetime, but we can't discount Kerry Kirkwood, who got 2.9 kilos in the last half an hour. Ben Fisk got 3 kilos. He's in the top 8, but it does look as though it's going to be between that top 4. Ian Giddins, Kerry Kirkwood, Andy May and Ross Harold for the 2016 FishOMania title. These are the guys who've come along. They've enjoyed the experience. They had to go through the semi-final yesterday. Remember, this year we had 32 competitors on the Friday. The final 16 got to the lake. We've gone from 16 to the top 8, and in truth, it's probably going to come down to the top 4. We have 10 weigh-ins for the main event. We finish at 5:05. The juniors have finished, and the ladies have just finished. Let's see which one of the 6 ladies who qualified from getting to the top 6 of the Ladies National in 2015 has taken the ladies' 2016 FishOMania title. Julie Collier.
Thanks, Rob. Well, it's really tense here down at the ladies' finale because Gemma Matthews, who we heard from earlier, is leading the way. She got 17 kilos, 850, which is a really good weight by you. You must be pretty pleased with that.
I am, yeah, really good, yeah. Third fish show, so it's nice to have a good weight, yeah.
And that's your best performance to date. We're now waiting for Sandra Scotthorn to weigh in. If she beats you, then you've been beaten by an absolute star of the ladies' angling fishing world. You must be pretty proud of what you've achieved.
Yeah, definitely, because I don't go fishing very often now. So yeah, it's nice to get here. Nice to get where I am, and yeah.
New mum as well, so it could be a fantastic few months for you. Now we're going to weigh in Sandra. If we just start that process now, but Sandra doesn't think she has got 17 kilos. She's been catching consistently all afternoon, so it'll be interesting to see. She doesn't think she's got 17 kilos, but we will see. Sandra, of course, has won this title 3 times before, now going for her 4th FishOMania title. Double world champion. She really is a star in the world of angling as far as ladies are concerned. Alan, her husband, is looking on, 5-time world champion himself, looking a bit nervous as well.
He needs to smile.
This is the ultimate angling couple, the Posh and Becks of the angling world. The last keep net just coming in here. Does look like a good few fish here. Last one's just going in. Yeah, we'll pop that onto the weighing scales. It does look like a large amount of fish in there. Could well be 17 kilos. We'll soon find out.
20 kilos.
Yes, it is. Sandra has one waiting for the confirmed weight, but 20 kilos. Lulled Gemma into a full sense of security there. She didn't think she had 17 kilos. She has got 20 kilos something. Her 4th FishOMania title. Sandra just waiting for the confirmed weight there. But congratulations, well done.
Thank you very much.
It was a great day for you right from the outset, wasn't it?
Yeah, I started catching. I haven't had any big fish. When I heard that, obviously, Gemma had caught some carp and that, you know, obviously I was really worried because most of mine have just been sort of like biggest a pound. So got me worried there at the end. So. But I've had a lovely day. I've caught short to start with, and then I've caught shallow at the end, so smashing.
2-time world champion, 4th FishOMania title. Does it mean as much to you as ever?
Oh, of course it does. Sam Sims had won it 4 times, so now I've got back there with Sam, so I'm really, really pleased.
Well, congratulations, a really good win, really, really good win. What was the confirmed weight in the end?
20 kilos, 200.
20 kilos, 200. Congratulations, Sandra. Brilliant performance. Well done.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, a reminder of the rules if you've just joined us. It's a miserable day outside. Stay inside. We've got, about an hour and 10 minutes left before the final weigh-in of the day. We've still got 3 left. It is the cumulative total. All of the fish caught since 12:05 this afternoon. We add them all up. And the angler with the greatest total over that 5 hours of continuous fishing takes home the trophy. That's what it means to them. And also £50,000, which can be a life-changing experience.
So you know Tommy Pickering knows a lot about fishing. I've just had a little whisper in my ear that Rob Minikin has changed to the method and started bagging straight away. He's had 5 fish pop like that.
Yeah. The fish they've moved out now, and or the feeding fish have moved out now. Yeah. And Ross and Andy need to make a decision because they're slowed down. They're not getting. I know they're catching an odd fish, but are they catching enough more than Kerry? And one of them needs to make a decision now, or both of them, I think.
But Rob asked you a little while ago what a 300-gram fish looks like. That's what we just saw Kerry put in his keep net.
Put in his keep net, yeah.
That was a 300-gram fish.
Yep, and we saw him catch.
There's one thing for sure, if Rob Mickens just had 5 fish on the method, next peg to Andy May will have definitely clocked that.
Yeah. Ross has just lost a fish. I bet that was foul looks as well. They're getting spooky. Yeah. They're definitely getting spooky. And the thing is on the method feeder, because they hook themselves, and because the bait's buried, you actually bury the hook bait inside the ground bait, you get very, very few foul hookers.
But the other thing is, sometimes you need to rest your pegs, so you need another line, and they might need to feed them pegs and rest it, go on the feeder, try and catch a couple, and when they come back, they'll hook them fish.
Stronger,
It might be stronger, so they need to make them decisions. It's almost like they've fished them pegs too long now.
Yeah.
I mean, Ross has already said earlier when we spoke to him that by feeding his peg and resting it and swapping lines, that was working. So by going on a method feeder, you know, putting some bait in, rest it, go have a few chucks on the method feeder.
And he's still on that, what I'd call the international line, where the international anglers were catching, because his long line, obviously, has just let him down.
I know it's easy sat here looking at this and saying that, but when you're down there, right, and you're looking at different things, you think, crikey, I'm still in it, I'm only 300 grams. Yeah. If I make a decision it's wrong, I've lost.
Well, it was you and Neil.
Yeah.
You had exactly that. Yeah. You know, you were chucking your feeder out, there were fish swirling in your peg, and you just thought one of them's got to have a go, and it didn't.
And it didn't.
We've had the juniors that has finished. We've had the ladies that have finished. The other match that is taking place is between 6 top-class international anglers. And looking at the fish that they've been weighing, remember, they started at 12 o'clock, so 5 minutes before. They've been angling better and catching more fish, but they don't have as much pressure as the guys who have got down to the final 16. To give us news of exactly what's happening amongst our internationals, let's join Ben Ransom.
Yes, it's been a really impressive performance from this man behind me, from Team Holland, and Jurgen Spearings is the man. We've got a final weigh-in here to see what his total is going to be. Jurgen, do the honours. Let's put this into the weigh bag here. Remember, he's got more than 8 kilograms first time, more than 8 kilograms second time, and then a 6 kilogram haul for the third weigh-in. So this is the final weigh-in for Jurgen Spearings of Holland. He was on 23.1 kilograms as a total, and we'll add on to that
4 kilos, 300.
another 4 kilos. So that takes us to 27 kilos. More than 27 kilos, Jurgen. Congratulations, that was a fantastic effort. You made it look very, very easy out there. How was it for you?
Not very easy. The last hour, I couldn't get a bite. It was very difficult the last hour.
That was your lowest haul, but it was still more than 4 kilograms. You've been fantastic all day.
Okay. And I don't know what the weight is with the number 2, the difference.
Milo was in, I can probably tell you, he got 20.950 in total, and you were more than 27. So,
right.
I mean, that shows you did really, really well today. I mean, you're competitive even with the very top of the main match over there. So, I mean, what was your secret and what did you do today? What were your tactics?
The same tactics as last year. So worms, casters, and beat.
And it seemed to work.
Yeah, it worked.
And you've twice been runner-up in the team event in the international match here at FishOMania. Today you've won yourself £3,000 in prize money. That must be pretty special for you.
Yeah, it's going to the team, so it's nice.
Let's let you go back and celebrate, Jurgen. Well done. Congratulations once again for everyone here. Jurgen Spearings then the winner here. I'll let you go and celebrate with your team members over there. I know they were a big part for you as we got the final. Sorry, almost got someone walking through our shot here. But Jurgen Spearings of Team Holland has won the international match, £3,000 for him. And just to confirm, it was Milo Colombo of Italy who finished in second place and takes the second prize for the international match of £1,000.
Well, they came from far and wide, from France and Poland, from Belgium and Italy and Germany, but the international masters goes Dutch. Well done to Jurgen Spearings, a fantastic catch of almost 27.5 kilos. So in a short amount of time, he's actually weighed in more than our competitors in the big event. But he has been here before. He's been part of the international event. And it's a photo which is going to adorn the mantelpiece back home in Holland.
Just show you how much they've learned over the last 2 or 3 years by having that international match on the Sunday. And how far they've come, because he just said that he's fished it like they did last year. So they followed what Will and Alan and Des have done over the last few years, and they've fed a little ball with ground bait, with worms and everything, and caught everything that swims. And he's had 27 kilos. I mean, what a performance! But you can see that
£60 a bit, Tom.
Yes, that's right.
What's also interesting, when you look at his catch shot, that there's a lot more hide and silverfish than there is F1s.
The carp, yeah.
Well, this is it. The ladies is sorted, the juniors is sorted, the internationals is sorted. All we need to do now is find out who is going to be the FishOMania champion in the main event. After 8 weigh-ins, we have a change at the top of the table. The heavily backed and the highly fancied local boy, Andy May, has moved into top position. An excellent weigh of 2.8 825 kilos in the last half an hour. Gives him a total now of 22.175. He has a lead of almost 1.5 kilos over Kerry Kirkwood. He didn't do too bad. He got 1.725 kilos in the last half an hour. He has a weight of just under 21 kilos. Ross Harold was doing well, but the fish went rather quiet in him. Less than a kilo in the last 30 minutes. He's got 20.575, and Ian Giddins is still about in the frame over there on peg 9, 19.1 kilos. He had 1.85 kilos, twice as many fish cumulative as Ross Harold in the last half an hour. Remember, we finish at 5:05. All of the fish have to be in the bag by then. These guys are out there, they're fishing for pride now. It's been a long haul for these guys, from over 4,000 tickets that have been issued. We had 300 competitors at Lindholm on 2 occasions. We got down to the final 16. These guys have come here, they've tasted it, it's been part of the experience of this carnival of fishing, but now they're just watching enviously across the pond at the top 4, really. May, Kirkwood, Harold and Giddings. Well, he's been here before. He's never won FishOMania. Third final for Andy May. Complete concentration. Hardly a blink of the eye.
Yeah, you're not seeing wave now.
Yeah, I was going to say he was punching the air before. We'll find out what his heartbeat is. We'll find out how close he is to seeing his reflection in the trophy and being £50,000 richer. We have 2 weigh-ins left, and the penultimate weigh-in is very close. So I am at peg 11 with Ian Giddins, and he's had a really solid last couple of hours. And if we can just grab that keep net, and we will weigh him in. He's currently in 4th. And don't forget, of course, the top prize is that £50,000 check. But second prize, you still have £10,000 up for grabs. So there is still a lot on the line for all 4 of these anglers as we bring the fish over. And you can see the mat that is below the scales. That's purely just to protect the fish when they are going into the scales. And Dick, if we can just come over here and we'll... No worries, we'll come around here as the fish go on the scales. I've been told roughly around a kilo. We will see if his bank runner is correct.
400 grams.
400 grams, he wasn't correct. And we'll go to Rob Dorset now.
Thanks, Jenna. That news, when it spreads over here, 400 grams, we might give these guys a bit of a boost. Kerry Kirkwood has lost a couple more fish, but he's got about 4 or 5 in there. They're not big, but at this stage, with it as close as it is, it might be enough. While Scott's taking that over to weigh them in, I'm going to have a chat with Kieran Rich, who's Kerry's bank runner. And of course, you've been here, what, 5 times at FishOMania final?
5 times, mate, yeah, 5 times.
And now, look, let's go and see this weigh-in. Come with me. We've got to see these figures. Let's have a look what it is for Kerry Kirkwood. Remember, 1.5 kilos would put him ahead of Andy May.
Like 450.
Oh, it's getting tight. It's only 450 grams. Kieran Rich, let's have a chat with you. You've been here 4 or 5 times. What are you saying to him now? We've seen him baiting up the margins. He's been fishing close down there. Not had a touch on it.
Well, mid-match, he had a really good run. He started catching the odd skimmer, odd hybrid, tench, all that sort of stuff. And we thought that was going to get better and better, but it hasn't. I mean, all he's trying to do now, I personally don't think he's going to be able to catch Andy May. But he's just got to try and keep in contention with second place.
But he changed his tactics when he saw Andy May get to 8 kilos in that last one. They're in pegs next to each other, so he knows exactly what's going on. That builds the pressure up, doesn't it?
Of course it does, yeah. I mean, obviously, Kevy's keeps casting the method feeder. He's just cast it a little bit shorter and got a fish straight away, sort of thing. So hopefully, next sort of 25 minutes, we can keep catching it there. It's all tense.
It's getting tense, isn't it? Let's go over to Andy Ford, who's with Andy May. After a disappointing bag from Kerry Kirkwood there, can Andy May stretch his lead?
So it's a fantastic match, this, isn't it? Peg 5, Andy May, Mr. Bennett. It's us again. We've been camped here for the whole match, to be honest. And I've got to say, it takes some courage to be doing what Andy May's been doing here, because while all those around him are losing their heads, he's just carried on doing what he's been doing the whole match, fishing the same line, and he's catching. Not big weight. This isn't going to be a big weight match. This is going to be close, but you can see there's enough in there to just keep the clock ticking. Ooh. Andre, what have we got this time? Oh, look at that.
2 kilos and 25. 2 kilos.
2 kilos and 25 grams for Andy May. He's going to extend his lead here.
Right, what's going through your mind? It's very rare that we get a chance to get insight of a top sportsman, as is in the final throes of a major competition. We've got about 20 minutes left.
Yeah, Kevin's just netting another F1.
You're walking down the 18th, Andy, and your ball's in the middle of the green.
Nice. And I'm going to get it right in the hole. Yeah, I made a decision about sort of halfway through after I tried that slop, you know, with the wind getting up. I just completely cut it out and I've just concentrated on this short line. They've been here all day. Missing a few bites, there's a lot of fish there. So they're coming into sort of like loose feed. I've tried coming a bit shorter because I noticed Kerry had a few decent fish down the edge. So I come shorter, but I had a few, but it wasn't working, so I've gone back out to my original line, sort of 6-7 metres, and as I say, I'm still getting bites. I've had bites there all day. Just could do with some big bonus fish, like a nice big angry 10-pound.
Just keep putting fish in net, mate. You don't have to do anything but that.
I know, mate. I
No,
know.
seriously, you don't need to do anything but that, mate. Just keep putting fish in net. Come back with your fish, that's all you've got to do.
I'm going to say something. You're offering advice to Andy. If we do get a chance to talk to Ross, who's in second place, got to give him equal advice as well.
No, tell him the prawn secret that I told you before.
Double prawn.
Andy, we noticed, you know, you've been here over the years with us working on the bank and demonstrating the methods and showing us how tactics work and everything. Yeah. You're also here for the international match, and you fished just like Des Ship and Will Rosen Fishing International. You've not had to go for the bonus fish, which aren't here anymore, but you've kept on that sort of 2+2, 2+3 line. You've kept the bait going in, you've kept stuck to natural baits, chop worm. It's almost like you fish to international rules.
Absolutely,
and just like they've done, you've caught everything that swims.
Definitely.
Except a bonus fish.
Yeah, I mean, I've had one decent tench, about probably £2. But other than that, it's been small fishing. You know, it just suits my style of fishing. I love catching everything swimming. You know, I'm not one of these anglers who fish selective baits. I just love, like, my worms, my casters, my maggots, because they will catch you everything. And all right, yeah, them new F1s have gone in, and they love pellets, but, you know, to me, you're missing out on too many fish if you're feeding, you know, just pellets, because there's lots of nice hiding. They've been hiding. The hide have been hiding a bit today, like, but...
They've been hiding?
There's a few in. There's lots of tension, this, that and the other. F1s, the F1s seem to, like, you know, come onto the natural baits really quick. Normally it takes them a week or two, but I'm not complaining, like, they're eating my worms.
Go on, Andy, we'll let you catch this. Go on, talk us through it, and then we'll let you go. No, don't let the fish go, we're letting you go. Well, he's getting much closer to taking the title. He's been in the final in 2008, 2011. He's a resident angling coach in these parts. He has a lead of 2 kilos as we have 1 weigh left. And as we've seen, as we're having a chat, he's managed to bag a couple of fish. He is leading from Ross Harold. Still £10,000 for second place. So there's still a contest between Kerry and Jason and Ross for second place. Our leader's name is Andy May. He looks at the moment like Andy will.
I think Kerry's looking comfortable for at least second.
Dear.
Yeah.
I think Kerry's currently in third place. Last year he had a 4th place finish.
The trouble is it's a kilo. A kilo is a lot when you're only trying to catch 3.
Yeah, and Ross, I've seen Ross catch 2.
He's just over a kilo behind Ross Harold
in
second place. That kilo could be the difference between £10,000 and nothing.
Well, the news from the grass is that Andy May's got 6 or 7 fish in his
Yeah, is that the whispering grass you're
That's the whispering grass, yes.
Look at that concentration there.
Fair play to him.
And another fish.
Yeah.
I reckon
Just
Tom
gone in
could be close
overdrive,
to the
hasn't
30.
he?
Minute and a half. What he hasn't done, he hasn't declared, has he? He's continued.
Yeah.
He's not had the belief that he's won it. He's known that Ross Harold's had a good afternoon, knows that if things go quiet, then Ross could catch him up. But now it looks like the only contest here is for second place. Oh,
Oh, look at that beauty.
And knowing him, when the hooter goes, he'll say, "It's solid now, can I carry on for half an hour?"
Look at that. That's a Bobby Dazzler, that one.
I think, Andy May, that has just won you the title.
Not a few shallow, mate.
He just went in without feeding then, because he knows he's got a minute.
They can't give up on peg 11 and peg 4. Kerry Kirkwood and Ross Harold are both still angling for the £10,000 second prize.
I don't know if Andy knows where we can hear him, so...
Maybe the sound guys can tell him that we can hear him and he can commentate his way to the title.
Or if we want to retain our hearing, maybe cut his mic.
Oh, no, he's a well-spoken boy, perfectly mannered, one of the most popular men on the angling scene.
It's true, actually.
Couldn't happen to a nicer guy.
No, it could not happen to a nicer guy.
You're
That's
right.
true, that. He's a top bloke.
Mr. Muscle pumps the weight in the gym.
10.
Prepares perfectly. And he has fished an amazing match this afternoon. His form dipped in the middle of the day, but he has peaked.
Well done, mate.
And that could be the sound of success for local boy Andy May.
Deservedly.
Well done, pal. He's got one on and all.
We've done it. Definitely.
Well, the crowds congregate.
We don't know. We really don't know. We think.
Oh, we don't know. We don't know.
Does that one
Don't
count?
bring
That one doesn't count. Oh,
No.
Hey, well done.
Very
That's-
honest.
That is a thinking angler.
Yeah.
Because in the heat of the moment there, he could have easily got that in.
Very easily, yeah.
Done it, though.
I know one or two that would have.
And there goes the outpouring of emotion. It's been like a can of fizzy pop for the last hour, hasn't it? He's bottled it all in, but the top comes off.
Let it go.
Exactly. He's not going fishing yet. He's not going in that water yet. We have to do the final weigh. We have to get the confirmation. Remember, Kerry Kirkwood and Ross Harold were in the frame going to the final 30 minutes. We can go down and find out what Kerry Kirkwood has caught, casting an eye over events. Bob Dorset.
I wonder if he's got a big stone.
Yeah, as far as these guys are concerned, yes, they think Andy May's won it. We all think that. But there's a big, big prize for second place. £10,000, lest we forget. And Kerry Kirkwood has had a very good half hour. We reckon he's got 7 fish in here, some of them maybe a little bit bigger. Let's see, this needs to be over 1 kilo and 50 grams to take him ahead of Ross Harold in second place. So is this going to be more than 1 kilo and 50 grams? If it is, it puts Kerry Kirkwood second for the time being. Mark will tell us.
Peg 4, 2 kilos, 450 grams.
2 kilos, 450 grams. By my reckoning, that puts him 1 kilo, 400 grams ahead of Ross Harold. 1 kilo, 400 grams ahead of Ross Harold in this battle for second place. Jenna, how's Ross Harold done?
Yes, we will find out in just a second. I just want to say, Ross Harold, you have to remember, he's only 26 years of age. It's his first FishOMania, and you know, he told me this morning that it's a dream come true to even be fishing in this final, let alone being in contention to win it or to even place in it. So if we can just get the keep net, we will find out if... So we think he needs 1.4 kilos. That's, of course, unofficially, and by the sounds of the cheers I've been hearing over at Andy May, he's going to need a significant catch here. Don't know if he's done it, but let's put the fish on the scales for the final time today for Ross Harold.
26 kilos, is that? 850 grams.
850 grams right there. Andy Ford, let's go to you now.
Thank you, Jenna. Peg 5, Andy May. Mr. Bennett, if you do the honours, please. Come on. Let's see if we've got this one then. There's been an air of celebration around the peg. I think we know what's happened, but we haven't got confirmation yet, matey.
What do I need?
Well, just wait and see. Come on, come this way. I think we know you've won it, but, you know, it's always better to be safe.
Tell me.
What does he need? What does he need? Someone tell me what he needs. I don't think you can be beaten. Let's have a look at the weight then.
Oh, 2 kilos, 950. 2 kilos, 950.
We can confirm, Mr. May,
Yes.
2 kilos 950, FishOMania champion.
Oh my word, can't believe it. I can't put it into words. It's something, you know, sort of always wanted since I had strawberry blonde hair all them years ago. It's just a dream come true. Just can't wait. Can I go jumping in now?
Not quite yet. I just want you to talk us through your match because it didn't go all your own way. You lost your way in a little bit in the middle, didn't you? Talk us through that bit.
Yeah, I was convinced I'd catch shallow, and obviously that wind's got really strong, and that's put a dampener on things really with that bowls of slop. So I've had a word with Andy. Andy's been absolutely amazing, and now special thanks to him. I couldn't have done it without him today. He's properly calmed me down, this, that and the other. But yeah, I've just decided to stick at 6 metres. It's worked for me. I've caught everything swimming. I didn't want to go down the pellet route. I wanted to fish worms and casters, fish to my strengths, and it's worked. Yes!
Andy, 50 grand.
Oh, mate. Well, 49 because he's having a grand, but I don't mind. No, it's fantastic. The money's brilliant, but it's the title. It's having your name on it, and like I say, I've done it. Can't believe it, mate.
How many? I mean, you've sat there, over the other side of the lake. You've been talking to us. You've been telling us how you should fish this in the final. You've proved that you know what you're
what
doing.
we're doing, didn't I? Hey, all the times I told you. It's finally come to fruition. So yeah, no, it's just unbelievable. Can't explain how I'm feeling.
I think there's a fair chance that you may be heading for a swim fairly soon.
Yeah.
So
absolutely, yeah.
Should we see if we can wander over to the lake? I just need to check a couple of practical questions here. Have you got your phone in your pocket?
No, I've not.
You sure?
Yeah, I've definitely not got my phone. That's in my box.
Have you got any car keys or anything like that?
No, I'm ready for it.
Is anyone coming with you? I'm not.
No, I don't think so. I think Andy's. I don't think he's got to change of clothes. So I think it's just
heart rate monitor. You still got your heart rate monitor on? I don't know. Are they waterproof? I don't know if they're waterproof.
Yeah, this one is. Come on, let me.
You need to take it off.
Do we?
Yeah, it's a family show. Let's just get a word from the family first, because they're up the bank. I think Julie's speaking to them. So before you go in, we'll see what Julie's got with the family. 2 seconds.
Very, very proud family up here. Son Oliver can't believe it. He keeps cheering. Leo as well, wife Louise. How are you feeling?
Absolutely brilliant. Well done. Really proud of him. Absolutely brilliant.
It's a funny feeling, isn't it? You thought he'd won, but you still had bated breath waiting
you never
to
know
find
until
out.
right to the end. So yeah, really pleased.
And now you really do have to think about what you're going to spend that money on.
I know. I don't know. Everything. Anything and everything. Get the house sorted, and yeah, it'll be lovely.
All the family here. I think Kirsty's sister was most nervous of all. How are you feeling now?
So excited. I'm just holding back the tears, really. He's just jumping in. I can't believe it.
He's just about to jump in a moment. Steve, Dad, proud moment for you?
Absolutely proud. Dead chuffed for him. It's been destined this year, it seems, that he'd win it. And all the best to him. He's done really great. Brilliant.
He has fished absolutely brilliantly. Listen, all the family here, as he's about to jump in, I think he deserves a big cheer from you guys. Yeah. Give him a cheer. Go on.
Well, here we go.
Ready? Go on.
We know how good an angler he is. What's he like as a diver? Well, he's no Tom Daly. He's caused a splash this afternoon anyway. Andy May's day.
Well done.
Wonderful.
Well done.
And as you can see, he's a local hero around here. One of the most popular men in fishing. First time he's felt any emotion this afternoon, isn't it? He has been so in the zone.
To collect the trophy, the cheque for £50,000, but most importantly, the title of 2016 Party Poker FishOMania champion with a total catch weight of 27.15 kilograms, Andy May! Andy, absolutely fantastic. You are the Party Poker FishOMania 2016 champion. How does that feel?
Catch that. No, it's fantastic. You know, I've always wanted my name on that trophy, and you know, to finally achieve it's just brilliant. The money's obviously awesome, but it's just getting your name on a trophy.
Absolutely, but it is £50,000. Come on, what are you going to spend that money on?
That's my wife.
Andy finished at the top of the leaderboard, a very healthy 3.5 kilos ahead of second place Kerry Kirkwood, who took home the £10,000. Ross Harold had a good afternoon for about an hour. In the middle of the day, he was, or middle of the event, should I say, he was leading, but then he fell off the pace, only got well, less than a kilo, 0.85 kilos in the last half an hour. Robert Milliken had an excellent first ever FishOMania final, as did Ian Giddings. Both had their excellent moments, but fell out during the course of the day. Not much money eventually went on Jamie Hughes, last year's champion. He, at best, scowled when he found out he was on the unfancied peg 14. He tried his best, he had a good 90 minutes or so, but in the end, the position of the pegs beat our reigning champion and 2-times champion, and the rest of the guys, well, they have enjoyed the experience this afternoon. Tidying things up, £1,000 richer, a Jack Demant, our teenager from Ipswich, who is the junior champion. The very popular Sandra Scotton. I won't give her age away, but she's the most senior competitor in any of the events today. She is the ladies' champion. Jurgen Spearings came all the way from Holland. He has taken home the £3,000, and it's going to mean an awful lot to him, Andy, mate. £50,000 richer, but he's got his name on the trophy at last. Got about 40 seconds left. Very quick thought from you, Tommy.
Well, top man, top angler, and you know, a truly great bloke.
Neil?
Deserved champion today. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Dead pleased for him.
Best angler on the day's taking home the money. You can't ask for more than that. No. You want fishing to be a sport where the best win, the best has won today.
Correct.
And the great thing about him, he's a wonderful ambassador for the sport.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
He's talked about it these years, and today he has played the game, hasn't he?
He's proved he knows his stuff.
Yeah.
We were never in doubt. He's proved today that he knows his stuff.
Well, he's a very, very popular champion here at Cudmore in the heart of Staffordshire. It's his home ground. The cry from here is Mayday, Mayday. It's been Andy May's day.